Hello, BookTube, from both of us. Hey, baby. How you doing? Had a little adventure this morning. We encountered two big, fluffy, flouncy dogs. Two dogs that they're 10 times her size, but they are basically puppies, and that works her one good nerve. She doesn't have much patience with dogs as it is, but when dogs are flouncy, bouncy puppies, oh my, oh my, that's not good. But both these boys are wonderful, and they both have been around long enough. Their brains have knitted together enough now so that they know to largely just ignore her. She'll be stiff and saying, well, what do you know? She won't be biting them. She won't be aggressive, but she's not going to bounce around herself. First of all, Frida has only played with me. She's never played with anyone else. And she's certainly not going to be happy-go-lucky, hey, you can bump into me. No, 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 no. She'll just be stiffly buzzing around like a bee and sniffing their interesting bits when they're not looking. And both these boys knew that, so they came straight to me for face smooching and head butting and all that sort of stuff, which is wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. But we got in a walk, and we're going to get in a bunch of more walks today because you can feel in the air that rain is coming. Probably a lot of rain is coming. I don't think it'll be today. All the weather forecasts, all the data seems to say it's going to hold off until tomorrow, but I think we're going to get socked with rain. So we'll make the most of it today while we can, even though there's no sunlight at all, none whatsoever. It's all completely milky. But there is mail. A package was delivered late last night. So the houseboy brought it in this morning. So we do have one thing to go through here. It's a box. It's heavy, so it might be a finished copy. And I feel certain that we will have no problems. We will go through this without me needing to delete this video at all. I feel certain that that's the case. We will not be provoked by modern ideologies of any kind. All right, well, some books make it easier than others. This is a nerd fest, so we won't be provoked in any sense. This is from the great folks at Princeton University Press. We have seen a number of these books before, and this is a Guide to Every Order. Guide to Every Order books. We've seen a lot of these for a lot of different things, from snakes to frogs. And this is Seaweeds of the World. This is by John Bothwell. He is the presiding nerd in question. This is Seaweeds of the World. And this has all that you need to know about them, where they're distributed, what they are, what their conservation status is. Just these things. All these books are great. All of them are fantastic. Seaweeds are astoundingly diverse. They're found along the shallows of beaches and have been recorded living at depths of more than 800 feet. They can be microscopic or grow into giants many meters long. They're incredibly efficient at using the material found in the ocean and are increasingly used in the human world in applications from food to fuel. Seaweed is everywhere, and it's surprisingly good at a lot of applications. We ignored it forever and ever, but we can't keep ignoring it. They're beautiful, too, with their undulating shapes anchored to the seafloor or drifting on the surface. Seaweeds aren't plants, they're algae, part of a huge and largely unfamiliar group of aquatic organisms. This book makes sense of their complicated world, differentiating between the three main groups, red, green, and brown, and delving into their complex reproductive systems. The result is an unprecedented, accessible, and in-depth look at a previously hidden ocean world. Fantastic. Fantastic. I love these things. I almost always manage to find a way to review them, even though, technically speaking, a book like this is pretty difficult to review. Was that a seahorse? Oh, it is. A book like this is pretty difficult to review. First of all, there's no real way that it can be done wrong. John Bothwell, I assume, is an uber geek. Yeah, he studied seaweeds his whole life, so he's not going to get any facts wrong. He's not going to put forward any trailblazing theories. So instead, this is just it's a field guide. It's going to take you through the different seaweeds in their different locations. Reviewing something like this is really difficult. There's no way to assess its merits and demerits because it doesn't have any demerits. So instead, all you're going to do is basically recount the book. You're basically, when you review a thing like this, when I review a thing like this, I often stop halfway through the review because I don't want to be just a part of the publicity department for a publisher, even if I love the book. I'm a critic. That's not really what I do. This is closer to that than anything I would do in a written form. You now know this thing exists. This comes out at the end of January. And I imagine there are some seaweed fans out there. You now know that this thing exists. And the Princeton sheet, I don't think it's going to give me a price. No, this is $30. This is going to be $30. And you get a lot for that. You get everything for that. Natural history, distribution, everything. And tons of photographs. So that's not, the price isn't bad. I would be the first to sing out if it were. I'm highly critical of the overpricing of new release hardcovers, but this is worth it. This or Snakes or Frogs or whatever, any of the volumes in these Princeton Guide to Every Order are worth it. But, I mean, as a celebration, sure, I usually don't end up... A review of this is difficult because you have to talk about the subject. You can't really talk about the book. The book is what it says it is. It's a really good example of what it says it is. Probably there's nothing like this out in the market today. Probably the closest you would get would be like an Audubon or Peterson guide that would be smaller. It'd be a little bit rougher and more flexible because it would be meant for you to put it in your rucksack and take it with you, which you're clearly not meant to do that with this. But even those are also impossible to review. You never see reviews of such things. But whether or not a book can be reviewed is not the only be-all and end-all of whether or not it's any worth. That's just the way I look at it because I'm a reviewer. But this is delightful. These are absolutely delightful. I have a whole bunch of them. I don't know if I'll be writing a review of this, but you now know it's out there. You should strongly consider this if you've got a seaweed fanatic on your list. So there you go. That was one book for a Sunday, completely non-contentious, just a guide to seaweeds. No way that it could be controversial. I wonder if this thing will go into any detail about the burgeoning seaweed industry. A vast amount of seaweed grows on this planet, and most of it is totally unharvested or unused for anything. When it could be, it's a natural kind of agriculture that is almost untapped. I wonder if this book will go into detail on the industries that are building up around harvesting seaweed, using it for building material or food. I'll have to see. Maybe that's something that I could hinge a review on. Anyway, that's it. That's your book for today. So I will wrap this up. I will see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.